Welcome to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast series. Here we talk about all things franchising. What is it all about? Is it for you? How do you find the best one to own? And so much more. Now your host, Tim Parmeter.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach, and your Franchising 101 host. Today, we are excited to have one of our franchise partners joining us to talk about their brand. So excited to learn a lot about this, a little bit of a new one even for us. So I'm going to be sitting here right here with the rest of you, learning as much as we can. Joining us today is a good friend of ours and franchise expert for sure. And he's the director of franchise development for a franchise called Managed Mowed, Mr. Frank Morrison. Frank, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for having me.
No, appreciate it. And we were talking a little bit before. We want to get into a bunch of stuff with Managed Mowed, but you've been in the franchising world for a long time. Maybe give us a little, if you don't mind. Just I'm kind of putting you on the spot with this. Give us a little Frank Morrison scoop.
Sure. I used to work for a major hotel chain for 18 and a half years, and my position was eliminated. This is going back to 1998, and they gave me a choice to go back into a unit because I was operational support outside of a unit, and then or take a severance package. I took a severance package. And now in 1998, only about 38% of adults actually use the internet. We were still on dial-up. And I came across this Excedrin bottle on there about making a career change. And so, of course, I clicked on that because that was right in my sweet spot of why I was actually on there looking. And actually happened to be a forward-facing client type of franchise, dealing with recruiting franchisees, kind of like what you're doing today. So I've been doing this now for over 23 years, helping people find the right fit for themselves. Now, I was did what you did for 10 years, and now for 13 years, I've been actually on the franchisor side. And I typically work with emerging growth franchisors for their increased development and recruiting the right type of franchisee for their system. That's so important today.
Without question.
A solid foundation.
No, and I think as people hear your kind of journey into franchising, right? It's the old downsize, right? Whatever fancy word the company wants to use, it basically means you don't work there anymore, right? And right. Then so many of the folks that we work with, and that's not much different than my journey. It's like, oh crap, what am I going to do next? And then you kind of stumble onto this crazy thing of franchising. So, yeah, very, very good. And I said this to you before off the air, and I say this to folks a lot, is like, franchising is this, there's this whole world, and it's kind of like right in front of people's faces, and we don't even know it. And then once you get into it, it's kind of like the mob, right? Once you're in, you never get out. You may move around. You started on one. And I think there's a lot of that, whether it's internally folks that do what we do, maybe they go back and forth, or they work on both sides, or they become franchise owners. Franchise owners can expand and all those things. It's like, I just think once people get into this, it's like, oh my gosh, where's this been? In reality, it's been right in front of our faces. We just didn't realize it. So,
yeah, and I can tell you that the reason why I'm still passionate about what I do 23 years later is because I have a genuine need to want to help people and help people find the right fit for themselves. And I'm a straight shooter. I just tell people this is what it's going to take to win, with this particular franchise brand that I'm representing.
Yep.
My job is to recruit ace franchisees into the franchisor system to build that solid foundation.
Yep. And because there's not a one size fits all. There's not, oh, you want to be successful, then you have to start this franchise, and all the rest of them, you're going to lose your ass. It's literally, it's very personalized and individualized with this. And so I always like having franchisor or franchise partners on to just learn and help people expand their mind of like, oh my gosh, what all is out there. And you and I even had the conversation about Managed Mowed at first. Like, even I'm like, the heck is Managed Mowed? What do you guys do? What is this? And excited to learn. So let's give us give us the scoop first from maybe we're like, who are your potential customers? What are the services that are provided by Managed Mowed?
Sure. Yeah. So Managed Mowed is a very unique business-to-business commercial landscaping franchise. Think of this as the Uber of commercial B2B landscaping. Our franchisees mow without mowers. So what we do is actually our franchisees or their account manager, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, go out and they get accounts, commercial B2B landscaping accounts. And then they hire landscapers on a 1099. They're the ones that own all the equipment. They're the ones that have all the employees. So, and even though, we just started franchising a couple of years ago, actually a year, and we really started, we signed our first franchisee in the fall of 2020 because, the pandemic hit just as we were launching. And we actually have 20 units awarded today as we speak, and have another franchise agreement out this week. So we should be saying 21 pretty soon. So,
nice.
But anyway, what's unique, that can concern some people, because it's a newer franchise, but the founders of Managed Mowed, they're going into their 23rd year of doing this.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like as long as I've been in franchising, they've been running this model, right? So, anything that they've experienced, or anything our franchisees will experience, they've already experienced it. So they bring a wealth of knowledge and systems that have already been developed.
Which is the whole franchise model, right? Is somebody's gone through and for these guys for 23 years been running this business, and again, there's not a right or wrong with this, right? Some people are going to hear, oh, Managed Mowed is, it's a newer emerging franchise, and one person might hear that and go, ooh, that kind of that makes me a little nervous. I'd rather be in something with hundreds and hundreds of units. That's great. The next person's going to hear that and go, ooh, that's exciting. I get to be cutting edge, no pun intended, with Mowed, right? But with that, which you guys are really offering, and in an industry that's certainly not winning awards for sexiest business out there with landscaping, but it's also never ever going to go away. Right. So you've got that.
Has to get cut every 2 weeks, like we have to get our hair cut. Well, some of us.
Thanks for that, Frank. I appreciate that. Well, I still kind of have to do it every week, but not a lot of labor and intensive with that. So you mentioned.
Let me continue because we actually we just focus solely on the commercial B2B space. So it's a Monday through Friday business, right? What do we do is we have recurring revenue every month, because what we do is we actually do, when we first get an account or we go to survey an account, we actually have a call center built into the model for the first 3 months, which actually helps our franchisees get leads. So they go out and they do what's called a scape assessment on a property. They're evaluating the property on 20 different areas. That right there is a game changer, because we're the only ones out there doing it. It's all done professionally, a professional form. And then we put a bid in on what's called core service maintenance: grass cutting, hedge trimming, garden bed weeding, and edging. So that's the monthly recurring revenue. Now, on top of that, we have over 30 different enhancements to upsell the client on. That could be high tree trimming, mulching, planting annual flowers, in the colder climate, snow removal and de-icing. So that's the beauty of our model. So not only do we have a monthly recurring revenue, but also we publish this. We have a 92.4% account retention rate. So year over year, our franchisees can continue building off their success.
Nice. And I think it's one of those things that if you can get the crews out there, and I want to talk more about the difference with this, because you're subcontracting. this isn't something people want to think about changing every single day. If you go out there and you do a good job and everything looks good, your customers are going to stick with you. And again, that 92% retention rate really speaks to that, which is amazing.
Yeah, right? You bring up a good point. And so, because every commercial and business property out there is using some sort of labor force to maintain the quality and the value of their property. The reality is very seldom are commercial property managers or, property management companies or whoever, very seldom are they being solicited to have an evaluation done on their commercial property. So at the very least, they're curious. So, when we present to them and they see the professionalism, it's a game changer. And we're really no more expensive than, the average landscaper out there. And so that's it, so at the very least, that just gets us in to actually do a presentation. Sometimes they're in a lot of pain. They just want, oh, thank you for calling. I really want to hear what you have to say.
Right. And on the commercial side, you don't really have a choice. You have to make everything look good. If me and my house, if I want it to look like, I don't know, it's like I need a team of goats in the backyard to try to kind of cut things down or whatever, or like I can be that house that looks like crap on the neighborhood, and it's fine. From a business perspective, you're not walking into some business, whether it's an office park or a place we're going to go eat or whatever, if everything looks terrible outside. So even kind of a higher level of awareness, I think, for those B2B customers.
Oh, absolutely.
That, right.
You hit the nail on the head.
What's so I want to get into the labor force, but to start with the owner, and you guys are open to both that full-time owner and a semi-absentee owner, which is awesome. Talk a little bit about kind of what your expectations are and some of the things you look for in an owner.
Oh yeah, and there's some things here. Whether we do. First of all, thanks for bringing that up, because we do have two options for our franchisees. They can either be a full-time owner or they can be a semi-absentee owner where we're going to be looking for them to put in at least 15 to 20 hours a week into their business. And what they'll be doing is managing what's called an account manager. The account manager is a true, business development sales type of professional. And they're going to be paying them, a nice salary plus a commission to go out and do the business. And they're setting those business development goals with them. They're keeping an eye on customer satisfaction, client satisfaction, and also their KPIs and so forth. Now, so we actually have two options. So it's not a lot of, it's not complicated business. It's very simple and easy to manage and run. But some of the things I'm going to talk about is some things we can't teach you. Some of it has to be in your DNA. And like I said earlier, I'm a straight shooter. We're actually looking for people that are highly motivated and self-starters. That's like with any business. Since this is a business development franchise, they have to have a backbone and grit. Not everybody's going to say yes, and you have to go on to the next customer, right? What's a huge differentiator between us and our competitors is our exceptional service. We really know how to connect with the client, keep them informed. Communication is clear, it's concise, it's articulate, right? The ability to deal with daily challenges, because, as we all know today, lots of storms are blowing through left and right, no matter what time of the year it is, no matter where you're at on the planet. And sometimes this 75-year-old tree that's in the parking lot of a bank might fall down, and now it's blocking parking spaces in that parking lot. Believe me, that bank's going to be on the phone calling our franchisee, please, can you get somebody out here to get this tree out immediately? So they have to change their whole day. So the ability to deal with daily challenges is another good example. They should have some experience in customer acquisition, managing people, and or account management. Okay. This is, if they're not comfortable with going out and doing the business development, then they can actually hire an account manager to do that. And sometimes it's a family business too. We have a franchisee that has her son-in-law who's a sales guy. They're working now together in the business. So, we've got different combinations out there. Of course, like most franchises, we're looking for franchisees that are coachable and follow the system. Like I mentioned earlier, if the franchisor, their co-partners, they've been doing this for 23 years. We will help people achieve their goals. They have to go out and do it. The ability to motivate people while holding them accountable. Yes, this is a 1099 model. We want you to have a great relationship with your vendors on a 1099, but you also have to hold them accountable to the standards that have been set. And, and with a high standard of excellence, with the focus on those results.
Right.
And so that's what we're looking for.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. No, I love it. And love that semi-absentee option is not hugely prevalent in service related things. And again, being able to get that account manager person in place. And I think your low labor model really helps, right? Because what's everybody's concern now over the last 6 months, year, or whatever, right? The labor issues. You don't have those with Managed Mowed, right? You're not hiring the people going out to do the work. You're subcontracting that, right? So again, talk a little bit about kind of some of the benefits, and I know there are many, some of the benefits of being able to use that subcontractor model versus having to hire all of those people, buy all of that equipment to do the work.
Right. So with the subcontractor model, that actually can turn it, you can flip that around, and some of the fears until they're validated by our candidates is, how am I going to find these commercial landscapers, right? There's a lot of them out there. There are over 650,000 of them in the United States, of which 75% are owner-operated. But here's the thing with them. A lot of those commercial landscapers are working in their business as technicians versus working on their business, managing, marketing, and promoting it. So that's what we do.
Right.
So they see us as a way of helping them because they're not very good at, client management, collecting their accounts receivables, and where we're giving them more business than they can handle. And then plus we're paying them every 2 weeks, right? Yeah. So we're working on it, they're working in it. So there's a big win-win there, right?
Yeah.
So that actually is a big benefit to working with Managed Mowed.
Yeah. No, I think that's and I love that because the majority of those kind of, again, the people are good at doing the work, right? They've chosen, they're going to start their own commercial landscaping, residential, whatever, because they enjoy it. They're good at it. But they don't know how to run a business and look at their partner from their perspective. Their partnership with Managed Mowed is like, oh wait, if I do a good job, you're going to keep pumping me more business and you're going to take care of that. And you're going to make sure we get paid. All we have to do is go do a good job, which is what we're good at.
Correct.
It's again, you can, and I think pretty quick, if somebody's not in line, you've got all of these other potential people that are ready to jump in and take over for that.
Right. So of course they all get busy around the springtime, right? Mm-hmm. And as soon as the daffodils start popping up. But we actually, one of our franchisees last year got caught. I mean, he was just going gangbusters, and then all of a sudden because we probably need a new vendor. A franchisee probably has to get another vendor when they have about 45 accounts, and then they have to get another vendor, right? Because only one vendor can only handle so much business, right?
Right.
And it was in the springtime when that happened, but he actually used our call center to help him find a new vendor. So not only is it to help you find clients, but also if you need it, call centers outbound. They can help you in different ways, even find potential vendors too.
Oh, that's awesome. And I will tell you, that's like, you just blew me away with that. That was something I didn't know you guys did.
Yeah,
and I think the franchisor support it comes in so many different ways that most people looking at this for the first time don't know. Talk a little about that.
Yeah, sure. Because we actually have a CRM system that's been customized for Managed Mowed. So our franchisees use that heavily to do their email marketing to the clients, to do all their invoicing and receivables and payables. And also we have a mobile app for the vendors that we provide them. So an example of that is when a vendor, when a landscaper arrives at a property to do a job, they actually take pictures before pictures. And then when they're done, they take after pictures. All those pictures get uploaded to the cloud. The franchisee and the account or their account manager receive a real-time notification about what they just did. So they can actually see the quality of the work. And that's how they can control it. So that's a big benefit right there, right?
Right.
And but we have 2 days of virtual training, 3 days of field training in Edmonds, Washington, where we're located at. And then about 45 days after, we actually go out to the franchisee's location and we work with them at their location, going around and helping them with the business development, seeing what they're doing, and then we have a library of different manuals. We use Microsoft Teams. We have one of our busiest channels is the GSD channel, Get Stuff Done channel, that the franchisees. There's another way we use stuff. We don't know who's watching this. I have to use.
There might be a child out there listening to this, right? Correct. Exactly.
Right. So we do have a Get Stuff Done channel on there. But we have different ways of communicating with them. We have a monthly, franchisee call, and the support is, and again, the power of franchising is franchisees working with each other and helping each other in collaboration, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we use the Microsoft Teams for.
That's awesome. And this is not obviously or maybe not obviously, but it's non-retail, but this you don't even necessarily need because you don't have equipment that you have to store. This could be literally kind of run from home at the beginning. Is that correct?
It's a home-based business, and it actually keeps your overhead low, right? Our investment ranges anywhere from 80,000 all in to 118, and that includes 3 months of working capital. The reason why there's a variance there is because we have extra working capital built in for the semi-absentee owner option, where they'd be paying that account manager a salary. Oh, absolutely. And we have rapid startup and expansion. 4 to 6 weeks after somebody signs their franchise agreement, boom, they're open.
Right.
The business.
Yeah. And because you guys are a little on the emerging side and a little bit newer, means you've got territory and opportunity to have multiple territories and things like that, where people can really grow a big business.
Yeah, our franchisees, territories are anywhere from between 4,000 to 6,000 commercial properties. That's properties, not businesses. Because it could be a shopping center that's anchored with a major grocery chain. There's 30 other retailers in there. That's one commercial property, as an example.
Right.
Yes, and you bring up a good suggestion about this being, yes, it's newer, but it's also what we call blue ocean.
Right.
It's not like we're a mature franchise. We don't hardly have any space left. You have to take what's given to you, right? If you like it, right? But I actually craft the territory with our, franchisees before they sign. Yep. And, as long as all the zip codes are contiguous, that's the key.
Right. Again, very personalized, right? So you're not taking whatever happens to be left over when you're franchisee number 916,
Correct.
Which may be a good fit for some people, right? But you kind of get what you get. Whereas this with you guys, again, kind of whatever you want it to be. So this is awesome, man. I appreciate you. I know how busy you are with this and taking some time. As we've zipped through, you asked me before, like, how long is this going to last? I'm like, 2 dudes in franchising, 20 minutes going to go by in a blink of an eye, which we just zip by, right? So is there anything else about Managed Mowed that maybe we haven't talked about that you'd like everybody to be aware of?
Sure. We have a strong customer acquisition model. We have the CRM system, like I mentioned earlier. We have different email marketing campaigns that are, in there where, for example, when a franchisee starts, we have a list of different commercial properties that we email market them. And, we have a series of emails that go out, and that's a way of warm calling, because now we've touched them, 6 times. And then if they don't respond, then they go into a different segment in the database where we're going to be dripping them once a month. And then once they do become a client, we're sending out quarterly education, like spring cleanup, winterizing your property. So we bring those value add pieces in. Also, it's a work family balance. Like I mentioned earlier, it's Monday through Friday, and a lot of people are looking for that today, right? And plus, we do have a handful of franchisees that own multiple territories right out of the gate, and they're semi-absentee too. On top of that,
right? So
their account manager that they have is developing both territories at the same time. But as they scale, though, they will need additional help. When we have different milestones they need to reach before we recommend that they hire more help.
Right. And again, the franchise model, and anybody's thinking, oh, well, these guys are newer into franchising. Sure, yes, but if you're not a little bit overwhelmed by all of the things that Frank's just talking about as far as what are in place, and if you think it's easy to create a targeted drip campaign and a CRM and all of those different things, and be able to know, hey, when we get to a certain amount of clients, we need to hire another crew, right? We need to, at this level, we need to hire another account manager. This is how we find them. This is how we compensate them. I mean, it really just, you and I could probably go for a half hour just on all of the support mechanisms within Managed Mowed, but just franchising in general. It will absolutely blow people away. Which again, then comes back to, is this the right fit for somebody full-time, right? Either way, we've got to really be comfortable, whether it's the owner doing it or hiring that account manager, of those B2B, like B2B clients, being able to find them, being able to provide great service, vendor management, and then have something that's never, ever going to go out of style in the commercial landscaping. So
absolutely. It's a relationship business. And, James and Peter, the franchisor, has been doing this, like I said, for 23 years. If your clients are interested to learn more, we offer them a 6-step investigation process, for fit. Because, just like they're looking for the right fit, so are we, right? Exactly. It's a two-way street.
Absolutely. So very cool. Frank, thank you so much, man, for coming on and talking to us today.
My pleasure.
No, absolutely. And as always, for all of our loyal podcast listeners, we hope the Franchising 101 series continues to provide insight into the amazing possibilities that can be achieved as a franchise owner. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you catch your favorite podcast episodes. Check us out online. Podcast site is franchising101podcast.net, and our main site is francoach.net. And lastly, if you'd like to learn more about becoming a franchise owner of Managed Mowed or any of the 500 plus brands we're partnered with, let's schedule a brief introductory call. Click the link in your podcast window or find us online at francoach.net. There's never any fee for our service, so we encourage you to take that first step today to help create your better tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we hope to catch you soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast, where our ultimate goal is to help educate you on all things franchising so you can create your better tomorrow.